Hey podcasters, Ryan Otto here. Before today's episode, I just want to let you all know that I've gone all in short letting on booking.com. Back in '05, the returns were good, but nothing like what we're achieving 14 years later. Because right now, every £1,000 of market rent I used to receive from a tenant is now returning £3,000 per month on the exact same rental property, which is a rental increase of 199%. My friends, if you leave a podcast review and tag me with it on any social platform, I'll send you a free copy of my rent arbitrage model, which is the unlock for you to do the same. And right now, guys, it's completely free. Hi everyone, Ryan Otto here. Welcome to Ask Ryan Otto. Now this is episode 6, and in this episode I'm going to be taking a question from a landlord who wants to know how is it possible for him to charge £3,000 a month in rent compared to the £1,000 a month he already gets in rent for the AST. So remember guys, this is where you guys get the opportunity to ask me anything. You keep asking me questions guys, and I will do my best to keep answering them for you. So, this is a question from a landlord. He wants to know, how is it possible for him to charge £3,000 a month in rent or achieve £3,000 a month in rent instead of the £1,000 a month he's already getting on an AST? And who would pay that is his question. Okay. Now that's a great question. Thank you very much for that. And let me answer that for you right now. So, it comes down to a very simple thing, which is arbitrage. If you can imagine the AST rental market, it is the AST rental market. Now, in certain areas, wherever you are in the UK, where it's a city, whether it's a town in the capital and the southeast and up north, it's irrelevant because the market rent is the market rent, okay? Now, you may find a very small fluctuation in the local market rent, if that's worth £1,000 for this exercise, for this question that I'm really grateful that you submitted. So the £1,000 rent, there may be a small swing of something similar may achieve £1,050 or £1,095 a month, all the way down to, it could be another highly motivated landlord that is happy to take £950 for someone to move in within 1 week to minimize their void, okay? You have those things anyway locally, but it doesn't get you anywhere near the £3,000 a month that you can achieve somewhere else, and I'll get onto that in a minute for you guys. So that's the local market rent. Now I want you to look at this in a completely different way, okay? So I want you to think about this in a completely different way. So over here, £1,000 is the market rent, but over here, in this brand new market, a new market, or a different market, that same property that is renting for £1,000 a month over here is now immediately worth up to £3,000 a month over here in this brand new market. Now that market, guys, is called booking.com. Now, I'm very passionate about booking.com because booking.com has been great to me, great to my portfolio, great for the clients' portfolios I'm working with and we're doing joint ventures with, great for my agency that's got many of these short-let properties on booking.com, and very passionate about booking.com. Now that said, there is other short-letting or online travel agents or operators such as Airbnb and things like that but I tried Airbnb for a while. Around 2016, left Airbnb, okay? Now, since leaving Airbnb, my profits have gone up on the exact same properties. It's about 33%. It's about 33% more profit instantly from when I just transitioned from Airbnb to Booking.com around 2016. Just that transition alone. So like for like properties, same property, Airbnb, Booking.com. Taken from Airbnb, put on Booking.com. Taken from Airbnb, put on Booking.com. Many, many times, okay? Now, instantly, it's like a 33% increase in profit. That was back then, and it's still going up. It's still incrementing and going up and up and up. So I'm all in on Booking.com, just so you know. So I'm biased for Booking.com. Now, as you can imagine, if you take the property out of the AST market, which is taking it away from the local rental market, and just put it on Booking.com, you stand to earn up to £3,000 a month in revenue compared to the £1,000 a month you used to earn on an AST, guys. Now, that's an instant profit of £2,000. An additional £2,000 just exchanging the £1,000 for £3,000 a month. And it does come down to arbitrage because on an AST, it's a long-term rental. So the tenant finds the property. They want to have the security of at least 6 months or longer. Maybe it's a year. Maybe it's 2 years. It could even be 3 years or longer. Okay, guys? So on Booking.com, they're looking for something completely different. Now, if you can imagine a hotel is exactly where the hotel is. You can't pick a hotel up and move it, right? So people that want to stay in hotels are very limited, okay, to where they can stay in that city and the amenities that that hotel has. Now, what I mean by that is business travelers, holiday travelers, people going on holiday, visiting the UK, tourists, people relocating, builders, tradesmen, people needing to short let, people that have sold their house or moved out of one house to move into another house, to release the money or waiting, one's completed, they got the money out, now they're moving in 1 month. They are looking for, instead of being limited to just a hotel, they would like a home from home. So what I mean by that is, instead of a hotel where there's no kitchen, it's not really a home from home, there's no washing machine, all the things that you can imagine that you would want in a home is the opposite to what you get in a hotel, okay? Travelers, business travelers, contractors, pilots, holiday makers are looking for alternatives. They don't want to stay in an expensive or rigid hotel anymore, which doesn't have all of the things they want. This is part of the sharing economy, part of, the rise of Airbnb and things like that, making this alternative accommodation more appealing. And I believe last year, a survey from Booking.com said somewhere in the region of about 30%, don't quote me on that, it's around 30% of their existing clients that have stayed on Booking.com would rather stay and will be staying in in 2019, apartments and holiday homes instead of the conventional hotel. Now, Booking.com right now are responsible for 1.5 million nights booked every single night, or 1.5 million stays every single night around the world, okay? That's how many rooms they have already, okay? Rented. 1.5 million every single night, okay? Bigger than Airbnb. It's the biggest It's the biggest company right now, okay? So all we're really doing is taking a property, or you'll be taking your property out of the AST market and just putting it onto the short stay market on booking.com. Now, what you'll get with that on booking.com is instant exposure. They spent 4.1 billion, not million, billion, on advertising spend last year alone in 2018 on Google pay-per-click. They're actually a partner of an element of Google. They helped partnered and they joint ventured and they built part of Google's system. Sorry, she's turning on my my Google Hub. I can't say the word because she's asking me questions. Okay, so well, she's trying to help. Oh, that's sweet. She's trying to help. So they spent 4.1 billion last year on pay-per-click on Google for them to send traffic, send guests, send visitors, send customers that want to stay on booking.com. So onto booking.com, onto their top listings, their page one listings. 4.1 billion to get them from Google to booking.com, which leads to their 1.5 million rooms, places, properties booked every single night. Now, that market is huge. That market is growing. That market is massive. And it's going like that, and it's unstoppable at the moment. It's completely unstoppable and rising. The curve is like that, okay? Now, if you can imagine, well, let's use our example. You would have seen or heard on the podcast or seen on some of our webinars or content we put out on the internet, on social. If you're watching over here, you will have already seen some of our case studies, okay? So I'm going to use one of the case studies. Not the highest case study. It's not the lowest case study of ours. I'm going to use a mid-range case study. Now, one of our properties is achieving £205 a night. So £205 a night, okay, that's on average, whether it's a Monday night or a Saturday night. But taking that into consideration, a Saturday night for us in that property generates anything up to just under £700 for one night for us, okay? All the way down to, maybe 150 in low season on a Sunday night or a Monday night. But on average, across the course of the year and the last 12 consecutive months, because that's where we've taken this data from, which you'll see somewhere online, on the podcast you'll hear it, on YouTube you'll see it, if you're on social you'll see, or if you're watching our webinars or anywhere else where we are online, you will obviously see those deals and numbers of stats and inside our booking.com account. So £205 a night for that particular property. Now, we're at 84% occupancy on that particular property as well. So if you can just work out the average of, say, 200 or £205 a night for that property. This is a 2-bedroom apartment, okay? 1 bathroom, 2 bedrooms. It's not in London, okay? It's in the southeast. It's not in London, though. And that generates £63,155 a year. That's over the course of the whole year. Now, that works out at, about £5,200 a month, okay? So, when you take off the AST market rent, we can call it, which is £21,000, that leaves a net profit of £42,155, okay, guys? Now, that equates down to £3,512 a month, if I'm right. Maybe there's a few pence on there as well. And what that means is that's a 201% increase above the AST market rent, which is, how we get from £1,000 in rent, or every £1,000 in rent we were achieving, is now worth £3,000 a month in revenue on booking.com. That's an instant profit increase of just over 200%. It's like 200% and a half or something. So we call it 201%, 1%. I think it's 200% 0.6 or something like that. So 201% rent increase. So every £1,000 of rent we were achieving on, well, high street agents or the local market rent is now worth to us and to you and to everybody here listening on the podcast, watching on the YouTube channel, or watching on social, or joining our anything else, our webinars or anything else on the internet. It's now worth £3,000. That's an instant £2,000 margin. That's 201% profit margin, okay? That you can increase your rents by, guys. Now, all you need to do is take your property out of the AST market, put it on booking.com, okay? People on booking.com, they want a home from home, okay? They want a washing machine. They want a fridge. They want a freezer. They want proper facilities as if they're in a home from home. You've got builders which would rather not stay in a hotel, and if they stayed in a hotel which has a double bed or 2 single beds, that's 2 guys. Let's say the cost of that hotel was, say it was £200 a night, this example. Our flat, we got houses at the same price as well, but that flat, that one example, is £205 a night. Let's say the hotel was £205 a night for 2 guests, okay? Now, that would be £100 each. Lots of things they don't have. All the things they need in a kitchen for cooking. They don't have a washing machine. They probably don't have a lounge. They don't have the facilities. They're in one room in a hotel. Now, let's look at that 2-bedroom apartment that we have, okay? That's the same price, £205 for a night. Now, that has 2 bedrooms, which can sleep 2 and 2, so that's 4. It also has 3 sofa beds, spares 3 sofa beds. So it can actually sleep 7 or 8 at a push, but 7, okay? Let's say there's 4 contractors staying, or a family of 4, or 2 couples, or 2 groups of friends, okay? Could be anyone. 2 teams of people at a company. 4 professionals, okay? Let's just say there's 4 of them, right? So the 4 people paying let's call it £200 to keep it an even round number. Hotel is 200 for 2. Our apartment is 200, which can sleep 7, okay? But let's just say for this exercise or answering this question, there's just 4 people. So that would mean in the apartment, it's costing them £50 each. 50, 50, 50, 50. In the hotel, for the same amount of people, it's costing them £100 each. It's double the amount for the same amount of people, and they're getting less in the hotel. They're getting less because they don't have all of the other amenities that they would need. I'm just talking about, or let's just talk about people that don't want to go out and spend a fortune in the hotel, on the restaurant, on the bar, on the breakfast and things like that. Let's say it's contractors, some workers, some builders. They're going away to earn more money, not to spend it all in the bar, in the hotel, or for takeaways every single night, or for the expensive restaurant in the hotel. Does that make sense? Also, it comes down to not only saving money, they can choose to be wherever they want to be. With a short letting property, which is just a rental property, if we keep it very simple, they can be anywhere. There's not 150 of them in one building, right? In the city. There's the 150, you could say, for this example, all in the different areas around the city. So they can decide wherever they want to stay, whatever they want to see, whether it's based on location, whether it's based on price, whether it's based on views, whether it's based on parking facilities, whether it's based on it's near something, or whether they don't care where they are, they're just looking for the best deal and the most amount of value. So that's how you can achieve it, and we're achieving £3,000 in revenue for every £1,000 we used to get in AST market rent. I hope that answered your question. Remember, you keep asking me questions and I will keep answering them, okay, guys? Now, I would love to know what you guys think, so just let me know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, you can hit me up on social, or you can come across to YouTube, or you can leave a comment on the platform that you're listening to this on. I would be so happy if you did, okay? So let me know what you thought, guys. I'm Ryan Otto. This is the Ask Ryan Otto episode 6. I'm super excited. You guys will be seeing a lot more of me. So you keep asking me questions, guys, and I'll make sure I do my best to keep answering them for you. Hey, podcasters. Thanks for listening. Please go ahead and share the podcast with your friends. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe so I can instantly deliver my best business tactics and entrepreneurial content to you the second it's released. Does that sound like a good deal?